Hey, what's happening, Barnaby here? It's time to talk food pyramids, plural, because there is the usual food pyramid that we all know about, but now I have just learned from Jessica Butcher, registered dietitian, there's a diabetic food pyramid. What's that all about?
That's true. There is a diabetic version of the food guide pyramid, and it's very much like the typical food pyramid that you'd see, except there are a few tweaks made in those carbohydrate-containing foods to make sure that diabetics are not getting too many carbohydrates throughout the day.
So they moved some things around, did they?
They definitely did. So if you're looking up in the meat section, you're actually going to find the cheeses there. And cheese would be typically found in the dairy category, but because cheese has much less carbohydrates than milk and yogurt, they moved it over into the meat and protein section instead. And then down at the very base of the pyramid, whereas the typical food guide pyramid would only have your grains, your cereals, your breads, the diabetic food guide pyramid pulls in the starchy vegetables and beans as well. So you're actually going to find your corn, your potatoes, your green peas. Those are all going to be right there in that very base of the food guide pyramid.
So if you are a diabetic, it's best to get thee to the diabetic food pyramid to figure out what you should be eating and in what portions. And that brings me to the next part of our conversation. We way overconsume on the portions, don't we, Jessica?
We certainly can. It can be very eye-opening to see what a true portion is. And a great example would be these two apples right here. You know, the diabetic food guide pyramid guides you to only have 2 to 4 servings of fruit. This would be 1 serving. This is at least 2 servings. You only need a small portion of fruit to actually get the amount of nutrition that you need to get you throughout the day.
Well, this day and age, I mean, this seems to be just like a teeny tiny little apple. That looks more correctly sized, but really that is the one you should be shooting for if you want just a correct portion.
Well, and it makes it easier too when people do feel like they're not going to be able to get all of their fruit servings in the day. If this is the larger apple, if this is the one that you're choosing for your day, you already have 2 servings met, so you're halfway to your goal.
Alrighty, well, you know what, it is barbecue season, so let's talk about meat, because I think a lot of people eat way too much meat. Let's talk about the correct serving size.
Alright, well, when it comes to maybe you're picking up a big steak to go out and grill, a good option would be this size steak right here. You only need about 3 ounces, rather than trying to combine all of them into one giant serving, which is often what you see being sold. And you can measure that out if you can't remember how to eyeball that in the store. Just use the palm of your hand, because this area right here represents that rough size, and it's basically the size of a deck of cards to get you the right portion for your meat.
And you know what the cool thing is you can actually use your hand for all sorts of measuring, such as?
Yeah, that's very true. Well, let's use this thing of orange juice right here as an example. My fist represents a half or 1 full cup, and that's because this orange juice is 2 full cups. 2 of my fists can tell you exactly how much juice that you actually need.
Alrighty, let's talk about salad dressing, say. You only want a couple tablespoons of that. How are you going to measure that with your hand?
Alright, if you're measuring out your salad dressing, the tip of your thumb, this area right here, that would be about 1 tablespoon, and about 2 tablespoons should be more than enough for your salad.
Okay, on down to teaspoons.
For a teaspoon, you can even use your index finger right here, and that would be a great serving size if you're measuring out some oil, maybe oil and vinegar for your salad instead.
I tell you what, who would have thought? Great advice, as always, on HelloLife.net, because we're all about matching your commitment to a healthy lifestyle.